First of all, what should I call you?
Probably Maidenwrath is fine.
Welcome, Maidenwrath. We're here because we have noticed some peculiarities, let's say, in the way that Marlin Airport is run. And we've been asked to come and do a little bit of an inspection, a little bit of an audit, in response to complaints that there is a jelly standing on top of the passenger jetway into the plane. Given that that's almost certainly against protocol for an airport, we have brought in an aviation professional to take a look at what's going on in this place and see who needs to be fired.
I work as depending on what country you're in, a flight attendant or a cabin attendant. So when I saw this new stage announced, I went crazy. I said, I want to work on the off the hook plane. My office is a flying pressurized Pringles can.
That sounds very comforting,
Yes.
when you put it that way. So we're here at Marlin Airport, and there's a whole bunch of different stuff for us to look at. What immediately caught my eye, as anyone will know from having seen my video on this map, is this side of the map over here. So the ground crew, I think you would call it.
Yeah.
The folks who are busy with getting the plane, pushed away from the gates, the people who are working the jetway, the luggage people, little dude down there with his fancy lightsabers.
Jumping enthusiastically.
Yes,
Yes.
very, very excited to be doing his job. That
On
was,
a cherry picker, it looks like.
yeah, clearly his dream was to be doing that.
You mentioned this little guy walking on top of the jet bridge, which is interesting. And when I was running around, going around the other sides, I noticed that there are several little guys standing, walking, jumping on top of the jet bridges, which is very interesting to me. That it's a massive plane. We've got several, okay, so that would be first class. So he's jumping on top of the one leading to first class or business. I don't know what they operate on.
Yeah, I imagine they'd probably
aircraft,
call it
but
like different
it's
things
massive.
depending on the company, right?
It's a double decker. Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, and like 2 different jet bridges going to that. Like, I'm not used to seeing that.
yeah, that's only on really big, or I mean, not only on really big planes, but planes that specifically want to separate. I don't see it super often. I feel like the majority of I don't work from international airports. Like, I am US based, but just flying as a passenger from other countries and Europe and whatnot, we'd typically go through, it's the second set of doors, so then it's right behind whatever first class where, you walk through business. But if you can see the little guy extending his jelly arms, doing some
Under the on the landing gear.
Yeah. Right on the other side of him, I thought it was pretty cute that we have a pilot watching him do that. So that's on most of the planes that I fly, there will be 2 pilots and then maybe a backup if it's a really big international one. But you see the captain sitting in there, and then so that's the first officer doing the walk around. So every before and after every flight, they go outside and do the walk around. So I love that he's there, right above him. And if you look up a little more, so that big box behind him is the catering. So that's where they bring in all the food and the sodas and whatnot. But so typically what I've worked, if they're actively catering, especially on domestic flights, they'll start on one side, usually in the back, and then they'll drive around and come to that where he's standing. So they have not 1 catering truck, but 3. I don't know why they need 3.
They need to feed a lot of inklings on this flight.
Yeah, and they're all hungry, and I guess it's a massive plane, so it makes more sense. But I was like, oh my goodness. I
Like,
don't know. Yeah, that was
isn't the
interesting to
idea
me.
that you want the catering stuff, the whatever carts you're wheeling in, to go to the place at the front or the back where the
Exactly.
flight attendants are
Where the
going to
actual
be
galleys are, yeah.
getting them? Yeah, like the middle of the plane there. That's just like, why are they putting the food in at
There's
the
just
emergency exit?
exactly the only galleys. So even on, say, a 777, or one of those big Airbuses, like the 334 Airbus, blah blah. Like they, they'll be. There isn't really a real galley in the middle, like you said. It's like that's where the cluster of restrooms are. Like the labs are there,
Hmm.
and so I don't know. And the only kind of galleys that are in that area are like a little coffee refill spot, just in case maybe there's some water or sodas stashed there, but it's typically like barely, it'll just be a coffee maker in a little alcove. Like there's no refrigerated stuff there. So it's really odd that they have 3 catering trucks set up. This guy's doing donuts with the cargo. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he's just
Um,
kind of driving around in a circle, I think.
yeah,
Like,
I think he's just kind of looking busy, you know. Look, he just took off. He's like, "All right, bye. See ya." That guy's dancing on top. He's having a disco party on top of the whatever cargo that is. There's
are those
another.
are those
You
like
see?
boxes hard enough that he'd actually be able to be up there, or?
I don't know, because I've only really seen, say if it's luggage, it'll be in those little, they're kind of covered carts. Like a little truck will be dragging a covered wagon.
It looks like
I
these
don't
ones
know.
are at least textured as though they're made of metal.
Yeah. So
So
I think that's fine.
that's at least the idea.
What's he
So
doing?
yeah.
He's having fun. There's more. There's more jellies dancing on top of the
Oh
jet.
yeah. There's another one over there on the jet bridge.
Yep. Get him. I'm joking. There was
Yeah.
another. I don't know what site it's on, but they have the jet bridges attached, but then they also have that rolling staircase, like the ramp stand.
Oh yeah. I think that's on my spawn side over here.
Yeah.
Like I think it's how
There.
like
Who is that? You see them?
right. Yeah. You've got like three people who are on the stairs, and the stairs are like moving.
Yeah, like someone's
I don't
driving it
think that's
around. Why would they
That's
stand?
that's not the way that's supposed to work, right? Like you move the
Yeah.
stairs, people go down the stairs, and then you move the stairs. You don't
The
move while the
only
people are on the
thing
stairs.
exactly. And I thought, why aren't they just using the jet bridge like everyone else? And I thought maybe it is a very famous celebrity family that where they don't go on the jet bridge with everybody else.
Like what? Where even would they go in?
I
Because both
guess.
of the doors are being
So
used by jet bridges.
I hadn't ever experienced that until a few months ago, where it was a transcontinental flight and it was almost done, and basically the most famous people that I've ever been near were there, showed up, and everyone was freaking out, and I was just like, on one hand, I was like, who cares? They're just people, but on the other hand, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that I'm like 5 feet away from. I want to say the actress that played Tomb Raider and her entire
Oh,
family.
Angelina Jolie.
Yes, and
Oh man,
all of her children were in the first class. So I
that's
would have
wild.
been really nervous, but I was doing basically business class kitchen duty, so I didn't have to worry about it. But they didn't come in through the airport, so they drove them through, I guess, onto the tarmac, and then I think if you can see where he's dancing, there's a staircase that leads down to the.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
So
I
they came
think
up from
that
there.
I think so, yeah.
That makes sense.
Just to avoid people gawking and
Yeah,
taking
like
photos.
that would be like a physical danger, I think, to bring someone that famous through such a public place and like ask them to
Right.
wait for hours or whatever. Like
Right.
it is legitimately, I think, a good idea to do that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
'Cause
But
I
also,
think
they
some
probably didn't
people.
put them on this moving staircase and just like
No, while
move
it
them
was
back and
moving.
forth while it's not connected to anything. I feel like
Exactly.
that's maybe unwise. That feels like a really, especially with it jerking around like
I
that,
know.
and like I feel like that's a great way to make someone fall down the stairs.
Right, exactly. So while that's not safe and or practical, I feel the devs obviously added it for that sweet, sweet airport flavor, and I think it does capture that really well. And I do actually love the detail of how they kind of jiggle when it jerks around. They're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
I
It's
I
really
feel like they
cute.
were like we need a little more movement.
You need some fun. And
Let's
their
just
little
make it so
hairdos.
that they're gonna fall down the stairs.
See, that one guy's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's an Easter egg and it's like a band or some dudes we know or like something that they know what it is, but we don't know.
I
So
think
we
that
have a
one has a
lot going on
mustache.
in Spawn. Yeah, he does. Look at him. The other one is little round glasses.
All right,
What is
so we're
this?
marking them down for putting people on the jet bridge. We're marking them down for the
Violation, violation.
stairs.
Yes.
We're questioning where that middle food truck is
Yeah.
going to. Um,
Why did I?
why we're devoting so many resources to getting food on specifically this flight. Um, so this down here with that's luggage going in, right?
Probably.
So
Yeah.
why is the guy being on top of it feels very unsafe? Because like,
Yeah.
how does he get down?
Exactly.
How did he get up there in the first place?
What's he doing? He's just dancing. He's just dancing.
He's there to entertain the kids that are in the front row.
He's doing his little. He's doing the Squidward, bold and brash, or whatever it is. That really interesting interpretive dance.
Um, then something to mention to the supervisors about how many of these guys are just kind of idle. Like
Yep.
we've got the luggage carts coming in,
Chilling.
but there's no actual luggage being put into the plane. They're just kind of
He
like
just drives
driving around,
away.
having a good time.
Yep.
We've got this guy jumping up and down on top of the boxes, which like not the safest. There are no guardrails there or anything. That could definitely go wrong. Another guy on top of a jet bridge. Do they usually stand on top of cherry pickers?
I don't think so. The plane is taxiing out, then they'll do their thing, and they wouldn't typically stand and gesticulate unless he's trying to catch their attention, like, stop!
Maybe the conventions are a little different for their signaling. I don't like
Yeah,
they're just like so happy that they
have
needed
more
to make
fun.
it so that the signals allowed for that. I don't
Exactly.
know.
I'm glad they're happy. I'm glad they're having a good time.
Also, it looks like he's not just jumping on top of the platform; he's jumping on top of the controls.
Nice. Oh, he is. He's right on top of the controls.
At work, we show around this really amusing picture of like a forklift lifting up another forklift, which then lifts up like a group of guys, and this would be like this kind of gives off that energy to me.
So would they just be on the ground normally?
Yeah, just they kind of stand off to the side, and I feel like they typically are indicating that everything's okay. They're not gonna run over any like cables or stuff or things in the way. Like, I think typically the danger would be like, oh, suddenly there's a truck driving behind, or oh, there's another aircraft, or there's some stuff that's in the way, and
Because I
preventing.
feel like this also isn't a great angle for them to be doing that because they're looking
No.
head on at the plane.
Like,
When
how
you
could they
mentioned
see
like
if
they're
there's
looking from the
anything
side.
behind? Yep.
If there's anything behind it, they're not gonna see.
No, absolutely not.
So there's another guy sitting on top of the jet bridge, and he's just kind of looking at the top of the plane.
He's just enjoying the nice weather. Is he working? Is he getting a lot done? We don't know. Located on outskirts of the Splatlands. It's a really nice looking airport, considering it's. I feel like the Splatlands look, you know, they're kind of gritty and kind of like, yeah, anarchy, and then they have this fancy airport. It's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, like these really big, expensive planes with fancy paint jobs.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely flown a lot in my time, only so much internationally, but I've never seen like more than one of those big double-decker planes in an airport at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a typical experience, but
no.
Mm.
Is that guy hanging on the wing?
I can't tell. Is he? Look at him. Is that allowed? Yes, I think he is.
Let me get a scoped charger and take a look out there.
Oh my goodness. Is that safe? Can he do that? And they're like, he's just doing maintenance, relax. We're like, oh.
Oh yeah, he's totally on the wing. Oh,
I
so there's
kept
another
trying.
plane here, and then this is the jet bridge, but it's not moved in
not
yet
using
because
it.
we've got the steps and we've got our pilot.
Our little guy. But what's he do? I don't know why they. I mean, maybe
Because
it
the
came
door's
from
not
China.
open yet, right? Like, it
Doesn't look like it. He looks like, why am I locked out?
Because like I'm just thinking, like, would there ever be a situation where the plane would be parked and the door would be shut
No
and
one can
nobody
get
would be
in.
inside?
I mean, it's certainly. Oh yeah, where no one would be inside. Yeah, like
Okay.
overnight, it's very common. I thought you were going to say.
I'm just
no one
wondering,
can get in.
like,
Like, it's
how do you
possible.
get this open if
There
like-
is a lever type of
okay.
handle, and it's usually recessed, or it's like flush with the fuselage, if you will. But so it seems like they have to kind of dig their fingers in and kind of yank it out and turn it, and then that's how they open it from the outside.
Ah, yes, their fingers. Got
I
it.
think their fingies, their little. He's like, hello.
Why are you pointing a sniper rifle at me? Apologies, I just need to see. I'm just using it for the scope, okay? Calm down.
He's looking respectfully.
And we've got some fellas out here that are waving, I think.
They're saying bon voyage. That's the regional jet. It's going in Capitalist.
I think there's an animation that plays periodically where a plane actually... Oh, here it is. I think this plane's taking off and will actually fly off into the sky.
I didn't see any actually taking off. I only saw them waiting, so this is really cool. There it goes. Bye. I mean, it seems it's pretty tidy. It's not nearly as chaotic as I assumed it would be, or as I was kind of expecting just based on the announcements. But I think it looks pretty nice. I don't know about working as the ground crew, but I think it seems like a pretty fun airport. It looks more fun than the ones I typically work at.
Is it safe, though?
On
the roof.
Really nicely designed. Like, I was typically, if I see stuff, like, I feel like it goes for anyone who works at, you know, it could be anywhere, and then when you see it represented in any media, you can immediately pick apart, like, it's not actually like that, this would never be like that, da-da-da-da, you know. But I feel like they really did an amazing job, because there was barely anything that I noticed that I'd go, oh, it wouldn't be like that, it's not actually like that, that's just a da-da-da. You know, like, even with the little, we've got the ground crew dancing on, you know, cargo doors and whatnot, but other than that, it looks pretty great, so I was really impressed. I have nothing to plug besides watch Tom Goes to the Mayor, and I'm joking. Everyone's welcome in my art stream, that's all.
Afterwards, you can get me the link to that, and I'll put that in the description.